Now let's move on to religion, because that's the perfect segue. And I want to talk a little bit about the chairman of the Christian Broadcasting Network, who says that yoga forces people to pray to a Hindu deity. Laura, you're laughing.
I think that's absolute nonsense. Yoga is used by people who aren't Hindus more as a sort of a meditation, more as exercise. It's not about praying to a specific god or a religious figure. It's more a meditative, spiritual, relaxation technique. And saying those chants and those words doesn't mean you're praying to the Hindu gods. It's more part of the relaxation, and it's more therapeutic.
Denise?
Yeah, like I'm not really that into yoga, but I've done it a few times. I wouldn't know what the relation is between yoga and praying to Hindu deities or anything like that, except for, I mean, you get like, I think you have the Om, you know, that's kind of like a spiritual chant or whatever, but in this case I don't know, I don't know what the relation is between yoga and praying to a Hindu god. Like she said, it's for meditation, it's for spiritual growth. Is it religious? I don't know. Yeah.
Well, it stems from the Hindu religion, so it's rooted in religion, but I think I've done yoga and I didn't think I was praying to a Hindu god. I did it for the exercise, to relax.
Right.
Maybe that's what it means, being tricked into, I don't know.
I don't really know if you can be tricked into praying to to somebody.
Yeah, because if you're not purposefully praying to them, then you're not, you know, it's not like you calling out that god or anything consciously. So I don't think it's, you know.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about something that South Africans talk about a lot, and that's cultural appropriation. The idea that you can take something that belongs to somebody else's culture, even if you're not part of that culture, and kind of use it for your own benefit. So, is it something that we should be concerned about? Should we be respecting other people's cultures and deciding, you know what, I'm not Hindu, so I'm not going to do these particular chants? Or is there really a copyright on culture?
Okay, this is like a topic that the industry that I work in, especially like recently, they talk about cultural appropriation and how you have like hip hop music and these things, and you have like white artists, hip hop artists coming to the forefront, but it's almost like they like what you're doing, but they don't want to be you. You know, so I think that it has to. People are pretty sensitive about how do I word this now? It's a touchy issue when an outsider comes in and they don't credit where it comes from, or they don't understand what the history is behind this thing, and then they just take what they like out of it and then exploit that for whatever reason, personal reasons they have. So I think I feel pretty sensitive about it. You know, you have to be careful on what you just take and how you come and walk into somebody else's space and how you treat them when it comes to their own thing. You know, so yeah.
Laura?
Well, I mean, I work in the design industry where I draw inspiration from different cultures and different elements all the time. And I think as long as you have a respect for the culture that you are being inspired by, and you're not deliberately going out to offend anyone, and you seeing the positive and trying to show a positive view of what they're doing, what they believe in, then I think it's perfectly fine.
I think there's so much beauty in the world, and so many different cultures and colors and languages and patterns, and we live in such a mixed society that it would be very difficult to just not have any influences from other cultures.
Especially in South Africa, where we have so many different cultures, so many people from so many different countries living here or being born here, and that kind of mix it's so inspiring. We should rather just see the positive side of it.
Nanive, I want you to talk to us a little bit more about the issue you're talking about. What is the better way to do it then? So obviously the wrong way is to swoop in, take what you want, use it out of context. But in the hip-hop industry, what would be a respectful way to do it?
To be honest, like my issue with it is when you have, you know, people coming in and grabbing the culture and then smudging out, you know, like the other guys. Like for instance, at the Grammys, when Iggy Azalea won this the Grammy for Best Hip Hop Album called the New Classic, it was like if you a student of the music and you know the history, you know the culture, you know where it comes from. A lot of people felt super disrespected because first of all, she's this Australian girl. She comes to the States, she steals the South American accent and then raps in that manner, and then you have all these other dudes that have these great albums, but they just get put to the to the back, and you have like this imitation of this culture being put forward, and then people get hyped up over that. So I think that is like the wrong way to do the thing. Like I don't know, I just kind of feel like those that deserve credit and those that come up that are in the culture, they get smudged out a bit. They're just in the background when this is their thing, and they created this thing and they should be celebrated for that. Not to say that nobody else is welcome, it's just the manner in which it's done. So like the Grammys, it's lost a lot of credibility, especially when it comes to like urban types of music, R&B, hip hop. These people can't even win in their own categories. It's being swooped in. They created this thing for themselves, and now it's like, okay, now you guys are done. Now we're taking over. It's our thing now. So to be honest, I don't know what would be the right way to do it. It's still a thought that I play around in my mind with trying to figure out. I'm still processing it to see what would be the best way. I mean, I don't know. It's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah. Lara, you obviously see so many different cultures pulled into designs. Often do you find that people whose cultures are being used are really happy about these designs?
They love it, and then it's a way of seeing what can be done with their culture, what the possibilities are, what other creative routes you could take with your heritage, what's part of your lifestyle. I think it's beautiful. I really like it. But as he says, it is wrong when someone comes in, kind of takes your identity and then beats you at it. It's kind of frustrating.
Lara, talk to us about the South African design space at the moment. Are we seeing real mixing of designers of different cultures and languages and backgrounds?
Definitely. I mean, I think just because we do, as South Africans, we have European heritage as well, and we have with design, you have the link to having access to what overseas designers are doing, and there's all that inspiration mixed in with what we wear as South Africans and also all of our indigenous people. So there is a big mix of different cultures, different influences.
And what about South African design specifically? I'm thinking that we've just had the design in Durban. What about South African design is really inspiring you at the moment?
Definitely seeing how they use the materials we can find here in South Africa. That's quite a big move, is using materials we can source here and using or having people who are from South Africa be part of the process of producing the product as opposed to having everything made in China. So I think that's what's inspiring. More and more South Africans are seeing that we should give South Africans a chance to work, to do the work and be part of the whole process. Design doesn't need to be outsourced from another country. We have people here willing to work and who are so inspired and keen to be part of it. So I think that's one of the things that I'm really inspired by in South African design right now.